welcome to this video where I cover the teams that were both most buffed and nerfed by patch 12.3. I do this for all the patches. I'll do this throughout the whole year. I take note of the top teams that were buffed and nerfed and some question marks of a couple teams that, you know, it's a mixed bag. We don't know what we're going to get. Obviously, not all nerfs and buffs are the same, as well as adjustments, but I like to do things like this. I like to look at the numbers, and what I do is I look at the champion pools of players that use a champion last year in summer and spring if it's a champion that was buffed, because obviously if it's buffed, that means teams aren't probably using it right now. Nerfs, the teams that use that champion a lot, they use it often, as well as question marks. It's a mix. So teams that were buffed, Lilia. You see Lilia here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Lilia was buffed. This could put Lilia back in the meta. If that's the case, C9 and Fred Brian are going to benefit most by it. Both teams were not nerfed significantly by the mid nerfs of Corki, LeBlanc, and TF, so they might get away unscathed. They may end up being a net gain going into 12.3. In the case of both, Blabber used it a lot. Every time one of these champions are up here, it's because that a player on their team used it as one of the top 3 players in the top 3 champions in their champion pool. So, like I said, Lilia and not Lilia, but C9 and Fred Brian. Last year, Blabber and Umpty used her a lot, especially Umpty. I think he played her more than anybody in the 4 major regions. I think I saw him 19 times. And he played her once this year, which is significant. You have to take that into consideration. And to use that, I'm going to nerf. I'm going to segue into the nerfs. And I'm going to skip Gen G for a second. So Weibo, SFM played Lilia this year. That's significant. He hasn't played her much last year, but he used her this year. And this is pre-buff. So is he going to use her more? Maybe. I did not include this over here because it's a maybe. I don't think it's a definite. However, Weibo were nerfed by Caitlyn and Corki nerfs. Juan Feng used Caitlyn a lot already this year, and Angel used Corki a lot. So they're going to have to go away from them. Obviously, not all nerfs are created equally, but that is going to cause them some changes in their champion pools and their team compositions. Gen G, Chovy, Corki, and LeBlanc both were nerfed. We saw him on the Vex today. I'm filming this on Thursday. He looked great, so really doesn't matter if he doesn't have Corki and LeBlanc. We'll find out. But Chovy is arguably the best mid laner in the world. Some people might consider him the best player in the world. So will he be really nerfed by it? I don't know. But nevertheless, 2 of their champions were nerfed, and I don't believe they are going to benefit from the Lilia buff. So that's kind of the thing. Like, no one plays Quinn, so that buff was kind of useless. I mean, I think 369 plays Quinn, but he doesn't play him often, so I wasn't going to include him in here. And no one plays Brand. No one really plays Nami. So those things are not going to help these teams out, where there were a lot of nerfs. There were like 5 or 6 nerfs. I mean, and we see that here with TF is kind of different. E.g., Jojo Pune used TF a lot in the lock-in. TF has been banned across all the regions, so no one's really playing him because no one's allowed to play him. Now will he be played? I guess we'll find out. So maybe this is actually, I'll say Jojo Pune did not look very good on TF, so I guess it could still be a nerf to him because everyone else can use TF and he can't. So we'll find out what happens with Twisted Fate now that he is nerfed. Because really a lot of teams like using him just for his cross, rift, ultimate, and ability to go to side lanes. So, I mean, if that becomes the case, then maybe it's he's going to hurt some teams, but not really as much. Inspired used Lilia a lot, though, so that's a buff. Inspired getting Lilia back in his champion pool is big. He can do a lot when he has a champion that can make things happen. In the case of RNG, Wei used Lilia a lot last year. One of his most played champions. I believe maybe even the 2nd most games in the world behind Humpty. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was like 14 games or something. So that's a big buff for RNG. The Corki nerf hurt Xiaohu. It's not his most played champion, but it will hurt him a bit. So we'll find out kind of how this 12.3 affects these 6 teams specifically. Like I said, there are a lot of teams affected by singular nerfs, like the Corky nerf and the LeBlanc nerf. More so the Corky nerf. I mean, Corky was in everybody's games. I mean, Faker was affected by it. Bjergsen was affected by it. A lot of players were affected by it, and those teams are affected by it. But if it's just one, it's not two. Like, Chovy now has to get... I mean, Corky and LeBlanc were 2 of his most played champions this year. Now he has to change his champion pool, which Chovy's capable of doing. Wanfang played Caitlyn a lot, more than anyone else in the world. He's going to have to back off the Caitlyn. Angel has to back off the Corky. So that sort of stuff, I mean, I think it matters. And we'll see, you know, obviously these players are really good. They have deep champion pools. So maybe they can just withstand it. And we'll find out. But I think these are 6 teams we should kind of watch and see what happens this next patch. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, like and subscribe, comment if you like what I'm doing here with this video or think that it's a waste of time. I mean, I don't think it's a waste of time, but maybe a lot of people want more information than what I'm providing here. Nevertheless, thank you for watching and hope you come back for more content.